Welcome, welcome. People are coming in the room. Welcome to our last coffee with clients. I want to see who's here. Wow. So honored to do this last coffee with clients with you guys as people are coming in. We've done the 26 elements, but we're really not done. We've got to tie it up in a neat little bow. I'm going to start this epilogue with my transformation story. I don't think I've shared it thus far on Coffee with Clients. So my transformation story begins when I was about 19, when I rapidly began gaining weight. I didn't know it at the time, but I had something called polycystic ovary syndrome. It's an endocrine disorder that's really a insulin resistant disorder, but it causes massive weight gain. It's really hard to lose. It's really easy to gain quickly. Fertility issues are involved. I struggled with some infertility issues, and it affected me for 20 years. It wreaked havoc on my 20s. I was 100 pounds overweight for most of my 20s, most of my 30s. And I feel like it had stolen at the time a lot of my youth. It affected my frame of mind, my mental health. I spent most of those years horribly depressed. And so at about 100 pounds overweight, probably around 39 years old, I was desperate and I had not yet found this program. So I did the most drastic thing you can do to lose weight. And I had bariatric surgery. I had the vertical gastric sleeve. You guys, I was desperate. And when they rolled me into the operating room, I was crying. Tears were running down my face. And you should have seen those nurses. They were rubbing me, honey, it's going to be okay. What they didn't know was in my mind, I was actually praying, and I was praying to God. And I said, God, I'm so sorry I let it get to this. But if you'll just let me survive this, just let me survive this, because my boys need me. Obviously, I'm here, right? I made it through the surgery. And one thing they told me in my pre-bariatric nutrition class that I was required to take was that the first year you're going to lose no matter what. You can eat pizza and you're going to lose. Probably won't get to your goal weight, but you're going to lose. But if you don't put certain healthy habits into place within that first year, really solidify them, make them a part of your life, it's not a matter of if you're going to have bariatric regain, but when. And sure enough, that first year, I lost like 95 pounds. I lost a lot of weight, but I never hit goal. And then a year mark to my surgery, the anniversary, I started getting hungry again. And I started eating normal amounts of food, not a lot, maybe 1,400 calories. And I started regaining. Talk about freaking out, right? When you cut half of your stomach out and you start regaining again. So I started doing all the things, but I could not lose the weight. I did keto for 3 months and lost 4 pounds. Why? Because in that year, after my bariatric surgery, I wasn't hungry. So I really didn't eat, maybe 600 calories a day. Definitely didn't get all my protein in. So my body had consumed my muscle mass. Incidentally, that's what happens with a lot of these quick fix answers. Especially if they deal with hunger control, you don't eat. And if you don't get enough protein, you lose a majority of your muscle. Now, muscle is the most metabolically active tissue in the body. So if you lose your muscle, when you start eating again, your metabolism is going to be in the trash, right? So that's what happened with me. So fast forward 3 years post-bariatric surgery, and I was 35, 40 pounds. I gained about half my weight back. Can I tell you that I was more desperate at 35 pounds of bariatric regain than I was at 100 pounds overweight, because I had done the most drastic thing you can do to lose weight, and it had failed. So May of 2020. And if you'll put one of my pictures up, Emily, this was me beforehand. May of 2020, my husband's blood sugars were out of control, like 500. And a girl at my church had lost 100 pounds on this plan. So I reached out to her, not for me. Remember, like when you have bariatric surgery and it fails, you really believe there's nothing left for you. So it wasn't for me. It was for my husband. I reached out to Chantel Seneca, my health coach, and I talked to her about plan. Did not get on. Did not let my husband get on, right? Waited a month. Literally nothing had changed except my husband's weight had gone up and his sugar had gotten worse. He jumped on plan finally. He lost 8 pounds his first week. And for the first time in a long time, I said, maybe this will work for me. I jumped on plan and I lost 4 pounds. This was the same 4 pounds I had been trying to lose for 3 years. Because remember, I'd lose 4 pounds and I'd quit and I'd gain 8. I'd lose 4 pounds again and then give up and gain 10. That was my yo-yo. All right. Here I am. Not only did I get to goal, I got 5 pounds below goal and I have maintained for over 3 years. Why did I tell you my transformation story? Because it wasn't linear. I didn't lose the weight and have immediate success. Okay. I found a tool, but I never changed my mindset. I found a tool, but I didn't make the habits a part of my life. Okay. Then I found this system, which is not just nutrition. It's not just habit implementation, but it's also mindset transformation. It's not just one tool. It's not just one shot. It's not just eat this food. It's the total package. And that's what transformation is. It's going to be coming from taking multiple elements and combining them for a total transformation. Not only that, the transformation has to start here. The internal transformation will give a long-lasting external manifestation. So that's what this whole journey has been about. From element 1 all the way to element 26 and now the epilogue, the whole journey is about transformation. So in element 1, he even talks about the fact that this isn't our fault. This obesity issue isn't our fault. 1, we're the victim of our busy schedules. And 2, we're the victim of a food industry that cares more about profit than they do about our health, that even have done studies to make foods more addictive. But in technology, we are the victims of technology. Everything that has been created to make our life easier has actually caused us to step deeper into poor health. So this whole journey from the elements and the habits of health is all about transformation and the different elements that will help you attain transformation. And it's going to be a journey. And just because we finished all 26 elements, we know we're not there yet, right? I know I'm not there yet. We've gone from preparing for our journey where 2/3 of us needed to deal with the healthy habit of weight management to the very end of ultra health, where we understand what ultra health is. And you guys, ultra health is not running a marathon. Ultra health is not lifting weights and entering a weightlifting competition. Those things can happen in ultra health, but ultra health is about protecting your brain. It's about decreasing your calories by a little 15% and increasing your energy expenditure by another 15%. And there's ways to do that. So it's not intimidating and it's actually achievable by all of us, because where you're at now in optimal health will establish that. So it's totally doable. All right. So what we've talked about through this whole journey is 1, what is your current reality versus your desired outcome? How to decide. To start this journey, we had to know what is your current reality. If you want to get to New York State, you have to know that you're in Tennessee or you're California, because you have to know where you're at to know how to get to where you want to go, right? We had to understand why you wanted to achieve your goals and what you wanted to accomplish. You couldn't start somewhere else. You had to have a powerful why. That was the beginning of this whole journey. We learned the importance of mindset and creating an atmosphere and a surroundings where you can thrive. We learned the elements of self-control and motivation. And we learned how to create habit loops for these new habits. And what were those new habits? The habits of healthy weight management. We learned, we learned how to track. We learned that weighing in is an important part of weight management. We learned all the different elements, the habits of healthy eating and hydration. We learned how to eat 6 times a day, what low glycemic means. Who did not know what low glycemic meant before we got on this journey, right? Hydration, the habits of healthy sleep, the habit of healthy motion, the habit of a healthy mind and emotions. One of the things Dr. A has taught us is that most illnesses are because of emotional mismanagement. Actually, in the preface, or it might be the introduction of the habits of health, he says by the year 2020, that was 3 years ago, the main cause of disability in the United States would be depression. How devastating is that? And I'm just going to be really transparent for you guys. In April and May of this spring, my nutrition was on point, because I have learned when my nutrition is off, it affects my emotional and mental health. So y'all, I was staying away from those high glycemic carbs. I was doing great, but I almost couldn't get out of bed. Thank God I had my kids to take care of, because it got me out of bed and got me going in my day. I had to go to the doctor in May because I was having a pain that wouldn't go away. I had an infection, long story short, but they did blood work. And what they found was that I had a zinc deficiency. I had a zinc deficiency because I had gone into maintenance and had forgotten to supplement. Because, when you're in 5 and 1, you don't need to do a daily vitamin because you're getting it. I never transitioned back. I had a zinc deficiency. Guess what a zinc deficiency causes? Depression and fatigue. I'll tell you, in May, I dug back into that supplement element, dug back into it, because obviously I had just skimmed through it the first time. And the things I started learning and doing my own research blew my mind. And I started taking more omega-3s, zinc, magnesium, and I found some amino acids that he talks about, glutathione. You don't need to know that, but I found the amino acids that help build that. That one supplement has radically changed my mental health. I'm telling you, I thought I was okay, but it has radically changed my mental health. And it's because of this, because of the information I found here in the supplementation and the things I learned. I just learned it, guys, just learned it. It is a process, an ongoing process where you continually be a lifetime learner and you continue to educate yourself. And as you do, you grow and you go further on the spectrum of optimal health into ultra health, into longevity, which is the ultimate goal. And so transformation is ultimately up to you. And what does Dr. A say? That you are the dominant force, right? Now, I'm a believer, and one of the things that a friend told me once was, take authority over the things you have been given authority and let God do the rest. So you have power and control, and you are the dominant force, and you control what you eat, what supplements you take, what you let in through your eye gate and your ear gate, your choices to exercise. Above the line, we live above the line. We've learned that. That's one of the main tools that we've learned in this journey. And above the line doesn't mean someone's acting with integrity. I think we have misused that statement. Oh, they're below the line. Oh, they're above the line. Above the line simply means you're taking personal responsibility. Below the line means you have begun to blame others, blame other circumstances. You haven't taken personal responsibility. Okay, you are the dominant force. You can make the decision to change. Every aspect of your life you can make a different choice. And that empowers you to know that you are not a victim. Okay. So if you can align all your choices with what matters most to you, you will propel yourself down that continuum of transformation into optimal health. Now, one of the things that Dr. A talks about is that at this point in the game, if you are still in weight loss phase 1, fantastic. If you are in optimal health now and maintenance, fantastic. If you are moving towards ultra health, fantastic. Okay. But all of those demographics that I just said, community is going to be one of your biggest tools, one of your most powerful tools. In the church, we call it fellowship. Okay. You become like the top 5 people you hang around with. So if you hang around with 4 smokers, you're going to be the 5th. If you're going to hang around with 4 gym rats, you're going to be the 5th. Community is powerful. All right. So this is what he says. Hopefully by now you are fully immersed in our community and building powerful connections and bonds that are serving you well on your journey. And that's another thing that we really have evaluated. What is serving you in your journey? I really believe either something is serving you or you are serving it, right? And if it's not serving you, it needs to go. That's relationships, unfortunately. That's habits. That's your environment. That's foods. If it's not serving you, it has to go. Okay? And he says you may have made connections with other clients. If you're a client here, you may have made connections with other clients. You might have already joined our coaching community and become a coach. And you might have helped others find hope with our program. I have clients who have led more people into health than some of my coaches. They just keep bringing people along with them on this journey. And that is wonderful. Okay. And so, but what you've done is you are sharing the good news that there is hope. The name of my coaching organization is Restored Hope, because guess what? I had none. I had none. My belief was completely broken, shaken, and destroyed. And when your faith and your belief is broken, you don't have hope. But you know what happened? I borrowed my coach's belief until I started having success. And once I started having success, I didn't have to borrow her belief anymore, because hope ignited in my heart. And suddenly I could believe for myself. Being a part of this community, whether you're a client or you're a coach, involves igniting hope in others, sharing the good news that there is hope in your health. And if he says, he actually tells the story of this study. Let me read this study to you really quick. And it's about one of the leading cultural anthropologists of our time, a woman named Inga Traitler. She evaluated a group of individuals who had mastered successful weight loss by losing at least 60 pounds, and they kept it off long term. And although the subjects had lost weight in various different ways, these long-term success stories all had something in common. Every one of them had completely changed the way they lived their lives. So in other words, they didn't lose the weight, but live their lives the way they had always lived it before. Okay, and let me just put an example in there. I don't know if some of you may remember when I was talking about the difference between a non-smoker and someone trying to quit smoking. Someone who tries to quit smoking is going to try to lose that habit, but they're still going to go the same places they always went. They're going to still try to hang with the same people they've always hung with. And ultimately, they're most likely to fail. But a non-smoker is not trying to lose a habit, but they're trying to become something. So they're not going to go to to that gas station they used to buy their cigarettes at all the time. They're not going to go to that restaurant where they used to get a drink and hang with friends because it would trigger the desire to smoke. They're going to change their lives. In all of these long-term success stories, they all had radically changed their lives by 180 degrees. So their life's trajectory was going this way, and they turned and they went the opposite direction. And in the way they experienced the world. So not just they had changed their lives, but they changed the way that they experienced the world. In fact, Traitler describes this phenomenon as a rite of passage. They all went through the same rite of passage. For some, this meant leaving their old jobs. Y'all, that actually happened to me this year. I left my job to become coaches, teachers, and mentors. They went from being passive to active participants in their own lives. They had undergone a transformation that would last for a full lifetime. And he says this, as you know, the Habits of Health transformational system is a compilation of the lessons I've learned from people who've been successful at losing weight, reaching optimal health, and creating well-being in their lives and the lives of others. By studying their success and the failure of others, the Habits of Health provide a path that many are following in order to reach and maintain optimal health. Your coach, me, others, your coach, like many of the people who are living the habits of health, they are now helping others, which, as Traitler observed, helps them maintain optimal health and well-being. Working together, as well as staying connected through an environment that inspires and creates long-term success, is a great way to give yourself the gift of comprehensive support and a lifetime of personal health fulfillment. What these people discovered is that in order to maintain and continue on their lifetime of their path to wellness and health, they couldn't do it alone. They had to bring people with them. And when you become passionate about something and you know it has radically changed your life, you can't stay alone anymore. You can't walk this out anymore. You either have to join with others or you have to bring people with you on this journey, because you become so passionate about this. But what happens when you do that, it adds accountability. It creates a community of like-minded individuals all striving for the same thing. So it says, now that you recognize the importance of support as you install and master these macro habits that you have learned, you're hopefully seeking more support and a community of kindred spirits. And so what I would hope for you guys is that this isn't the extent of your community, that you would lean into the client support pages, because you can't do this long-term alone. Because even if you had every single thing that Dr. A has to offer in the Life Book and the Habits of Health, even if you researched everything, you took every supplement, there's still an element that you will never achieve if you do not lean into a supportive community of like-minded individuals. It is powerful. Finally, one of the things that Dr. A talks about is that what we're striving for is not a utopia where we are perfect and we're living this perfect world, right? It's not possible. And even if it were possible, a utopia is a perfect world where there's no obstacles and there's no tension, right? And we know that obstacles are the things that make us grow. If we don't have obstacles, we stay in a place of stagnation, and it's a place of comfort. And a place of comfort is the most dangerous place you can be. Okay? It's in the storm that we grow. It's in the middle of striving. It's in the middle of getting out of that chrysalis that the butterfly gains her strength so that when she gets out, she can fly. Without the struggle, there's no strength, right? And a utopia would not offer any obstacles, anything to overcome, and we would never be strong. But what he says that we strive for rather is a protopia. I had literally never heard of that before. But essentially, he defines it as a process where each day you just strive to be better than yesterday. Can you do that? Can you just strive to be a little bit better tomorrow than you were today? Guys, failure is a huge part of that. It's a huge part of that. And he says it's not always easy, but being present and enjoying the process. Enjoy the process. This last year of working through the habits of health, it's been slow, but it's been progress, incremental improvement, and giving yourself credit for the improvement you've made. Look, you may not be happy with where you are right now, but it's not where you were. Give yourself grace and give yourself credit for that. Because one of the things he talks about is that technology is, the rate of technology right now is actually mind-blowing. And some of us are already overwhelmed. We cannot keep up with the current technology. And as he has said, technology has actually not made our life better in some regards. In some regards, it's made things too easy and we're becoming more sedentary. And that's what they call the sitting sickness disease literally happening to the American people because we sit most of the day, right? But with this protopia is that we incrementally get better every day. And with a community of like-minded individuals, we help each other to keep pushing forward. And that is the protopia, not coming to this place of perfection, but coming to a place of always moving forward, eyes set forward, not looking at what was behind, and honestly, not even looking down at our belly button, but looking ahead of what lays before us, because that is what we're reaching for, right? So in the beginning of this journey, hopefully your first week with your health coach, they sent you the well-being evaluation just to get an evaluation of where you have been in your journey and where you're going to start to ascertain your current reality. We did it also at the very beginning of Coffee with Clients. We did the well-being evaluation. I say, take it again. It's time. If you've been through all of these elements with us, take it again. If you haven't, take it again. If you've never taken it, take it. We have to know where we are. And it's something that you can take throughout your journey. Constantly reevaluate where you are. You can appreciate where you've been, but you can know where you're going, right? And so I want to finish with these final words from Dr. A. These are Dr. A's very last words of the habits of health. Habits of health, okay? He says, years from now, your success story could be the final push that someone else who feels very much like you did before you began building the habits of health needs to start their journey. You can be that example. You can be that leader in your own way. I know you can. By picking up this book, you have already made the first of a series of decisions that will, if you persevere, change your life for the better. So, I want to close by wishing you well on the journey you're embarking on and to say it's truly a privilege to help you take control of your future health and well-being. In health, Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson.